Hi friends, welcome back to Rustic and Lace DIY. For those of you who are new here, my name is Brenda and this is Oliver, and we are so happy to have you here today. If you're returning, you all know I just really appreciate you guys all so very much. So today I'm participating in Crafted by Corie's mini challenge, and I'll let you know more about that in a few minutes. So with all that being said, let's get to crafting. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I'm going to use this leftover candle jar from a candle from Dollar Tree, this sign from Dollar Tree, and then the third sign, or the second sign there, is from Hobby Lobby. I got it last year on clearance for $1.39. So I'm just going to start off by painting each one of those items with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And then once they were all painted and dried, I took some of these rhinestone stickers that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint them all with that same white color. Now, I think I used like 2.5 packs, or 2 packs with 1 strip from the third pack. It's not quite 2.5, 2 1/3, I guess. And then once they were dry, I'm going to adhere them to all around the edge of those boxes, but I am adding some hot glue because I have found in the past that these stickers, the stickiness on them doesn't last real long and they will start falling off after a while. So I decided to go ahead and use some hot glue, and I put them, like I said, around both of those boxes, or they're not really boxes, I guess they're pictures, and around the top and bottom of that candle jar. So then after that, I took my ruler here and I'm just trying to mark the center place, the center spot, and then I do erase those lines. After that, I take my E6000 and my hot glue, and I am just going to add that onto the lip of the candle jar there, and then I'm going to adhere that to the bottom picture, which is now the base of my tier tray. Then I'm going to add the E6000 and hot glue to the other end of that candle jar, and then I'm going to turn it over and add that to the other picture. And then after that, I would recommend, if you're going to recreate this, to do this part before you glue it all together. I wasn't thinking, and I had to be really careful because I didn't want to put too much pressure on that so that it would come apart. But I'm just doing some distressing all around the base and around those rhinestone stickers, all around the corners, and just pretty much everywhere. And that's all there is for this. I just love it. I think it came out really pretty. You'll have to let me know what you think of this one. And the reason why I did a tier tray is because I thought it would be nice to have one in my craft room, so whenever I have to display tier tray decor or my minis decor, I have something to display them on instead of bringing the one in my living room in here all the time. So there it is for you. So today's challenge is the Minis Challenge, and it is hosted every month by my good friend Corie at Crafted by Corie. This month's theme is spring and Easter. If you don't know who she is, which I highly doubt, make sure you check her out. She is so sweet and so very talented. And then make sure you check out the playlist as well. I will have links to both of those in my description box below. So here is DIY number 2. And I love this one, guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, so for this one, I used these flowers that I got from Hobby Lobby. They were 40% off of that $2.99. I'm using these tumbling tower blocks that I got from Dollar Tree, and then some foam board that I got from Dollar Tree. And I start off by hot gluing 3 of those tumbling tower blocks together, end to end. And I end up doing 4 of those. And then I take 2 of them and I hot glue them together top to bottom, like you see there. So I'm hot gluing them to the top, the bottom to the top, if that makes sense. Once I had everything hot glued, I took 2 of those sets of 3, and I'm doing the same thing where I'm hot gluing them top to bottom. And I do that for both sets. So here I'm just making a rectangle, so I'm just hot gluing the long pieces to the small piece, just like you see there, just making a rectangle. And then after I have this all hot glued, I am going to take it and I'm going to trace it out along some of that foam board, and then I use my X-Acto knife to cut it out. Then I take my Waverly wax, my antique wax, and I am just brushing it along this box and then wiping it off with my paper towel. And then once that was done and dry, I took some hot glue, put it all along the bottom of my little planter box, and added that foam piece there. Then I took some black acrylic paint and I just painted the inside of that flower, and then I used my Waverly chalk paint in the color Fern, and I painted the leaves front and back. I took my brown Truffle chalk paint and painted the stem, and then I used Petunia purple, pink blush, and light yellow paints by Apple Barrel to paint those flowers. If you're new here, I just want to say welcome. Again, my name is Brenda, and I am so happy you stopped by today. If you like home decor on a budget, holiday decor, thrift flips, gift ideas, then I would invite you to hit that red subscribe button, become part of our family, and then let me know in the comment box that you're here and that you're new. I love to get to know my subscribers, and I love to respond to all of your comments. It really helps me get to know you better. And if you just like this, if you've already subscribed and you like this video, make sure you give me that thumbs up and comment, because that really does help my channel grow. It lets YouTube know that my content is liked, and it will promote it even more so that others can see it as well. So when I painted the flowers here, I did do 2 coats, because as you can see with the lighter colors, you could see the lines on those flowers, the black lines, and I didn't want you to see them. So I did end up doing 2 coats, and I do paint the back of the flowers as well. And once those are dry, I took my Arteza paint marker, and I could see just faintly, I could see those black lines. So I'm just using my paint marker to trace out those black lines. And then that way I got the shape of the inside of those flowers, because I'm not an artist myself, guys. So it would have been a hard thing for me to do this on my own, believe it or not. So after that, I just dried it. And once they were all dried, I took some twine here that I got from Dollar Tree, and I am just making 3 little bows, and then I'm going to hot glue each bow right underneath that flower to the stem, just like you see me doing there. After that, I take one of these cubes that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm cutting it in half, and then I'm taking one of those pieces and cutting that in half again. And then I'm going to use those to make like a stand for my flowers. So I'm just going to hot glue one piece to the bottom of that flower stem, and then I'm going to and that's on the back of the flower, and then I'm going to take the other piece and glue that to the front bottom piece of that stem. And then once those were all adhered, I used my hot glue on the bottom to adhere it to the inside of my little flower box. Then I'm taking some Spanish moss I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just filling the box with it. So that way it helps cover that foam, because you don't want the white foam showing. And then after that is all done, I take some twine and I'm just going to wrap it around the edge of that foam so that you're not seeing all that white. And I did, because this is a thinner twine, I did have to wrap it around twice. So if you use a little thicker twine, you probably would only have to do it once. And then once I was done with that, that was all there was for this flower box. I love it. I think it is so cute. If you recreate this, you could always put a saying on it or a little tag. I kind of thought about putting a saying that said, flowers 5 cents or flower garden or something like that, but I just love it the way it is. If you'd like to follow me on social media, you can find the links to my social media accounts in my link tree in the description box below. And then here is DIY number 3. So for this DIY, you guys, I love this one too. I took some of these flowers. These are like paper flowers I got from Hobby Lobby last year, and I have no idea if they have them this year or not, but you could use any little flower. And then I printed this mason jar from my Cricut on some cardstock. I took some foam board, some tumbling tower blocks, and then I used this paper that I got from JOANN'S. So I'm just going to use that little template that I created or I got from Design Space, my Cricut Design Space, and I am just tracing it out on that foam board. And then once I have that traced out, I am using my X-Acto knife to cut it out. Now, if you are going to cut on a foam board, you want to make sure that you have a very sharp blade, because if it's dull, it's going to leave all kinds of little grooves and nicks, and it doesn't cut very clean. So the secret is to use a sharp tool. So then after that, I traced that little jar cut out onto that with that paper, and then I trimmed that out, and then I'm using my glue stick here on the back of the paper, and then I'm just going to adhere that to the front part of that jar. Now I didn't do the lip of the jar because I'm going to cover that with some of the flowers. So after that, I took a little bit of twine because I want to cover up, of course. I wanted a border there. Sorry. And so I wrap it around about 3 times right around the top there, and then hot glue it. Then I'm going to use it to go around the sides because I want to cover up, of course, that foam board because I don't want it to be that noticeable. So I just go around the whole thing with my jute twine there. And just to give you guys an update on my son, for those of you who don't know, at the end of January, he was diagnosed with APL leukemia. And he was in the hospital for about a month undergoing treatments. He did get to come home a couple of days after I left there. I was there for 3 weeks, but he just got notice yesterday that he is in remission, which we are so happy about. So that is really good news. Now he just has to go through 8 months of chemo treatments just to make sure that there are no leukemia cells. So thank you all for all of your prayers. I really do appreciate it. Our whole family appreciates it. And we are just so thankful that things are working out for his good. So as you see there, I just hot glued those flowers onto the top. And then I did some on, hot glued the taller ones, have some wires. I hot glued them on the back, and then I covered it with some more of that paper. And then here I'm just going around just kind of to help with the outline of that paper or of that jar. And I just hot glue that all around. And then I'm just taking 2 tumbling tower blocks and I'm hot gluing them to the back of my little jar, and that's all there was for this one. I just think it looks so cute. You'll have to let me know what you think about this one as well. Okay, DIY number 4. This one is so easy, you guys. Okay, so I took one of these square bowls that you get in the party section at Dollar Tree. And then I took my pink blush apple barrel paint. I was going to use some of this paper, but I decided not to. And then I used some of these greenery bushes from Dollar Tree. And then there's some hop clover pick that I just absolutely love. I got from Walmart last year, and I need to see if I can find more. So basically, all I do here is I paint the outside of one of these little bowls with that pink color, and I did 2 coats on the outside and 1 coat on the inside. Then I am just cutting down some of these flowers and I am sticking them in the bowl. I am not even adding any floral foam. I'm just sticking them in. And once I have it to the point where I like it, I'm just going to take some jute twine and I wrap it around, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, and I tie a bow. And that's all there is for this one. Now, I would recommend if you recreate this to maybe hot glue that bow or the twine so that it doesn't slip, because I need to do that to mine. But I actually kind of got this idea. I made a bigger one on my last video with the bigger like candy container. I'll link that in my description box if you want to see that. But I just love the way it came out so much. I thought it would be really cute for a tier tray as well. And I used one of these too. So you have to let me know what you think about that. And again, if you wanted to recreate it, you could add a saying on there. You could add a tag. You could do a lot of things. Here's DIY number 5 and the last DIY. So I used this decal I got from Cricut Design Space, this picture from Dollar Tree, and that paper from Hobby Lobby. So I started off by tearing off this paper, and it was not coming off very easy. So I end up just trying to spray it down with water as much as I could. And this is why I always try and tear off that top layer, because it's really hard to scrape off with just the water. So I used the water because I wanted to just kind of make it, I guess, a little softer, hoping that it would be easier. And as you can see, the part that doesn't have that top layer comes off really easy with the scraper. But I just had to work at it. I did spray it a few more times to just make it a little softer. But once I got it all off, I'm just going to trace it out with that paper, and then I will cut it out to fit on the front of my sign. Then I'm going to use that same glue stick that I used on my previous DIYs, and I am just going to adhere the paper to the front of that sign. And then once I have that on there, I'm going to take my decal and place it right in the front of that. And after I have this on, I realized that the green, I didn't do anything about the sides of it. And I didn't really like that green. It was a little too dark of a green for spring. So what do? I put gray on it. But anyways, I just painted the whole thing with my elephant chalk paint. And I didn't care if it was getting on the paper because I knew I wanted to do distressing. So I just went ahead and did some distressing all around the picture frame and then a little bit on the front. And if you don't like distressing, that's fine. If you want to make this your own, I would just say don't put that paper on until you have painted the sides, unless you are a better painter than I am. I am a very messy painter. I can't get it. I mean, I get it all over me. I have to stop wearing nice clothes when I craft because I end up getting it even on my clothes. So there it is. After that, I took some of this, I guess you could call it ribbon. I got this from Hobby Lobby last year. It's got some a flower and some beads. So I'm just tying a knot on the end and adhering that to the back of the picture. And then I'm just making sure that the beads are close to those flowers. And then I'm going to hot glue the other end. I have to cut it. And it was, when I cut it too short. I couldn't make a knot. So I just end up hot gluing those strands to the back, and it works out just fine. Then after that, I used my staple removers to remove that hanger because it's going to be on my tier tray. And then I took some more of that pink and I just paint one of these little wood flowers that I got from a pack of 9 little wood pieces from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to hot glue it to the top there, and that's all there was for this one. I love it. I just figured, I'm making a lot of flower spring things. This would be a perfect sign to go with them. And there it is. So you have to let me know what you think about this DIY as well as any of the other ones and which one was your favorite today. So thank you so much, you guys, for stopping by. Again, if you are new here, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, become part of our family, and let's get to know each other. And for the rest of you, thank you so much for all your support, for always watching. Make sure that you guys check out Corie's video as well as her channel and the playlist. Again, I'll have the links in my description box. And with all that being said, you guys, I'll be back on Sunday with another video. So I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.